Behind the scenes inside government, the current Chancellor of the Exchequer, the very first, as she likes to keep pointing out, female Chancellor of the Exchequer, Rachel Reeves, is known, rather cruelly some people might say, as Richard III. And when you think about it, that clearly has got a similar look, but nobody dares say this to this woman. And what's fascinating about this whole story with Rachel Reeves, as I say, the current Chancellor of the Exchequer, is the fact that she's never really come clear about really her credentials. Clearly there's been some fudging on that CV, and now she's left in charge of the country's finances, which are very quickly hurtling towards a disaster. But when you have very established companies coming out and basically saying you're ruining the country, the economy with your plan, all of that sort of stuff. Literally at Prime Minister's questions time, she keeps pointing out that she's inherited this huge black hole, which is fictitious because clearly in the same breath, they're giving away millions, gazillions out in foreign aid. If we're so desperate for money, why are we giving so much away? Rachel's never proven this on record or indeed sat down with an interviewer. Apparently they're all a bit timid of her, and if she won't do the interview then they lose it, so you're not allowed to ask her many things. Isn't it nice though that we've got big upstanding people that are not too frightened to say exactly what they think about just how badly the Chancellor is running the country. Now today we're having our local elections, and it's fascinating as well to find that really when you think about it, in certain areas of the United Kingdom they've postponed them. No, they've banned them so that you cannot remove the Labour Party candidate that are doing and polling so incredibly badly. But down south, a very brave individual who's had a store literally in that particular area for 150 years is literally pasting her to the front window and calling her a liar. Let me explain. Britain's oldest department store, Bealls in Poole in Dorset, is holding a closing down sale after 140 years of trading, with the CEO blaming Rachel Reeves in window posters, saying her 200,000k increase in national insurance and minimum pay meant finally the business was unviable. This is a similar story that's happening all over the UK. Is she concerned? Is she bothered? Has she reached out to these people? Absolutely not. She sees this as victimisation and picking on her. A real Chancellor, as many people pointed out, may have visited and gone down and told, well, how could we possibly help? Show some support. But this is the level of people that we now have. And as I've pointed out, this is a woman who's openly lied on her CV, looks incredibly uncomfortable, but like the business secretary, and of course various others inside the government, they expect that you to forget all of that, and they're hoping for the people that they consider to be their newly imported invaders to be the people that are going to support them and keep them in power, not just for the next 4 years, but they hope for the next 20 years at least. When you look at a business like Bealls, of course, that's had 140 years of trading history, with many royals even shopping in there, it must be very sad, not just for the long-term business, but simply for the history. That's wiped away forever, never to be recreated again. And when you think about it also, it could have easily been stopped if we'd have had somebody in charge of the Chancellor, literally looking over her shoulder at the books and saying, is this really the right decision, Chancellor? Should you really be doing this? Rachel Reeves is wrecking the economy on a daily basis, and seemingly even the current British Prime Minister, Sir Keir Starmer, thinks she's doing a terrific job. How well do you think she's doing? And more importantly, will you vote for her in this election time? Neil Shaw, Kensington, London.